Hey everyone, we're back with another Ask a Coach video. This time we're looking at a question that we get often from parents of OPTI sailors. And today we're joined by a new co-host, Bernat.
Hey Alberto, thank you. Happy to be here. I'm super excited to join the team and bring my experiences as an athlete and as a coach. But before we get into anything else, just make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more OPTI TV content.
Subscribe.
Today we're answering a question that we get often, and that is, when do I replace my cell?
All right, let's get into it. To understand when to replace an aging mainsail, we're going to give you a crash course on how OPTI sails are actually made. There are, of course, slight differences from sailmaker to sailmaker, and everyone has their own thinking on what makes a better OPTI sail. But for the most part, they're all constructed from the same materials and the same way.
All OPTI sails are born of Dacron cloth, which is the cloth bathed and cured with different resins to make a stiff cloth with little to no stretch. Sail makers select different kinds of Dacron for different reasons, but once they decide on which kind of cloth, they are designed with the help of computers.
Next, each panel as designed by the sailmaker is cut either by hand or with the help of machines, and all other materials are assembled. The panels are first basted together with seam tape, sewn together according to the design specifications.
The sailmaker then applies the reinforcement patches. The edges are taped for reinforcement and the final sew is done. The grommets are installed next. The OPTI class is unique because it requires the sailmakers to certify it meets the class rules. Sailmakers update their designs every few years as design trends evolve and class rules change. They test and test models and check performance and wear and tear and adjust accordingly.
Check out episode 1 to see our tests on the most popular OPTI sails.
So, now that you know the background on how sails are made, let's talk about how to inspect your mainsail and when it's time to get a new one and use your old one as a practice sail. Most coaches will recommend you use your old racing sail as a practice sail once you buy a new racing sail. I recommend having your practice sail and racing sail be of the same sailmaker and model, as there are differences in power and tuning across the different sailmakers and even models. What is important here is to make sure you take care of it, washing it down with fresh water after every use. And don't store it away yet, please. That causes mold and stains, and that doesn't look good.
By the way, although mold doesn't affect your sail's performance whatsoever, it still isn't a good look, and it's a good idea not to store your sails away wet, and make sure that they're not crinkled or folded.
The more you sail and the more racing you do, the faster your sail will wear out, and sooner you will have to replace your sail if you want to remain competitive. By no means should you be tossing your sail away after every event, but if you are a very active OPTI sailor going out every weekend or going to Continental IOTA Championships, you should be replacing your racing sail every 1 to 2 seasons. Optimist sails are rather light, so they stretch, wear out, and lose stiffness over time.
That's a great point. This is actually one of the reasons that the OPTI class limits sails to Dacron of medium weight, because composite sails like these would be destroyed by Optimist sailors. You guys laugh a lot. Considering all that we've discussed so far, here are the main things to be looking out for when inspecting your sail to determine if it's time to retire it.
Number 1, spider cracks. Look all around your sail, especially around the buttons and foot of the sail. Your sail, when new, has a semi-bright sheen to it because of the resins in the polyester fabric. Over time, the sail gets wider and looks like spiders have been weaving webs over your sail. If the majority of your sail is covered in spider cracks, it's probably time to retire it from racing. Number 2, crispiness. A racing sail should be crispy. The fabric should feel stiff and not cloth-like. When you handle it, listen to the sound it makes. If it still sounds crispy, it still has life in it. Number 3, micro tears. If you have had the sail for a while and find many small holes or small tears across your sail, it most likely means that it has been in the sun for a long time and it's losing its resistance against UV rays. Number 4, corrosion. Grommets corrode over time, and much faster in tropical or warm sailing environments. Inspect your grommets, and if you have any missing, have new ones installed before using it to sail again. Some sails wear out faster than others with the same amount of use due to difference in polyester cloth. Typically, the top-of-the-line racing sails have more fragile cloth and don't last as long. For really active racing sailors, you want to be thinking of getting a new racing sail every 1 or 2 seasons. As sails stretch out, they lose stiffness and your boat speed will be affected.
But what if you're not that competitive and are just going to local regattas and championships? You don't have to get a sail every season, but a new one every 1 to 2 years. The average time in the OPTI class is 2.5 years, so you might go through 2 or more sails in that time as your body weight and size changes.
Keep in mind that as your weight and size increases, you should look for a sail that is cut for your body weight. That change alone can make a big difference in your sailing performance, as long as you're sailing smart. Talk to your coach about what brand of sail fits you best. But just know that any sail from a reputable sailmaker that can provide you an IOTA certificate like this one will be good. Whichever sail you end up choosing, make sure you learn to tune it properly.
That's a great point. So, to recap, when should you replace your racing sail? Inspect the sails you have, and if they don't sound crispy, look cracked, and have multiple tears, it's time to get a new one. If you're very active racing and are racing in IOTA championships already, you should replace your sail every 1 to 2 seasons. If you're not sure, just ask your coach or us.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found it useful, subscribe to OPTI TV for more helpful videos and content. And if you love the video, consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. For only $3 a month, you can help us make more videos like this one.
Thanks to our sponsor, USail, for hooking us up with these great shirts, keeping us out of the sun. This has been Alberto.
And Bernat.
We'll see you next time.